Party time. Yay, this is like, every Monday is like this. I might actually add another class to schedule. You never know. Okay, let's get comfy. You don't have to sit cross-legged. You can sit anyway. That's good for you. You can sit propped up on a bolster. Find a neutral spine. That's what will determine how you sit, with your chest up, crown of the head up, chin level to the floor, more or less. And then close your eyes. Allow the sits bones to be heavy, but the tailbone lifted off the floor. Pull the low belly in and up to engage your core muscles. Expand your chest and let your shoulders drop back and down. Release some of that contraction in the abdominal muscles to inhale. Exhale, draw the navel in and contract your core muscles again. And just release some of the contraction to inhale so belly can expand a little. Slowly exhale, drawing the navel in, low belly in, empty out the lungs. Now maintain that neutral spine with chest up, head up. Relax the belly completely and relax the breath. Notice the depth of your breath as it's relaxed. Is it deep or shallow? And now start to slowly inhale deeper, completely relaxing abdominal muscles. Exhale, slowly drawing navel in. Inhale, relax the abdomen. Exhale, Ujjayi breath begins. Gentle constriction at the back of the throat, creating that soft sound to hear. And we'll take a few more rounds. Developing victorious breath control, Ujjayi pranayama. At the end of your next exhale, reach your arms out. Eyes can stay closed or you can open them. And then inhaling, reach up overhead. Exhale, bend your elbows, do cactus arms. Inhale again, reach up overhead. Exhale again, bend the elbows out, open up your chest. Inhale, reach up. This time exhaling, bend at the hips. Bring your hands down without hunching over. And then come up just a little higher and pull your shoulders back and chest through the shoulders. Breathing in. Exhale, bend at the hips to go a little further down maybe. Courtney, it's like you're my teacher's assistant. And we'll be here for one more breath cycle. A deep inhale, slow. And slow exhale. Inhaling, walk the hands in, lift your head and sit back up. And extend your legs out in front of you. Lean back onto your hands. And then lift up out of your shoulders. Think of pulling the shoulder blades back toward each other more. And then flex the ankles and press your heels forward with the big toes together, or the bunions, whichever is closest together. Lift your chest higher, float up off your hands and sit up straight. And then put a little bend in your knees so you can grab the back of your thighs. And a little or not, a lot. It doesn't have to be a little. Rock back a little, like hunch your lower back and feel how your tailbone goes toward the floor. And then go opposite of that, where the tailbone lifts and you tilt your pelvis forward. Do it one more time so you feel tailbone press back. And then do the opposite of that. Tailbone's off the floor. This is probably bringing you into good upper posture, upper body posture. Maintain that as some of you straighten the knees, some of you don't. If your tail rocks back, the knees should be more bent. And you can put blocks under them too if you have blocks or want to. Again, the ankles are flexed. This is staff pose. Wiggle side to side to get a little more grounded. And then reach your arms up. Hunch your upper back. That's easy to do. And then do the opposite of that. Take a breath in. Exhale, go back to a hunch. Inhale, do the opposite of that. Exhale one more time, go into a hunch. Inhale, do the opposite. Maintain that upper body posture as you exhale and fold with your belly toward thighs. Chest and head stay up. Hands come down. There's going to be different depths of the pose for every body. Be focused on your own. If something hurts, that's usually a sign from the nervous system to back off. The asana portion of yoga is not a modality that believes in no pain, no gain. Now, just like you would do cow, arch your lower back. Feel the difference in the back of your thighs if there is one. And then start sitting back up. Bend your knees and bring the soles of your feet together, knees out to the sides. We're bound to angle pose. Grab onto shins, ankles, or feet. And then before we go forward at all, well, something's going to go forward. It's more belly. Lift up your chest and pull against whatever your hands are holding on to. You might feel your inner thighs stretch even just from doing that. So now bring the elbows toward your waist, belly toward the feet if you fold down. It's not chest toward toes, but belly toward feet. Notice your breath. Keep it steady. Breath. The word for breath is prana in Sanskrit, which is synonymous with life force or energy. All three of those mean the same thing. So by controlling your breath, you're controlling the life force. Lift your head up, bend your chest, and then sit back up. Bring your knees together, and just let your hips close back up for a moment here. Come forward enough so that you're not going to hit your head against the wall. Most of you already are, but just make sure, just if you like lean back, that you're not going to hit your head. Hold the back of your thighs. Lift up your chest. And then lean back. Feel your abdominal muscles catch you from falling all the way back. Some of you might keep your feet on the floor. Some might let them just kind of hover, maybe just one foot. It's a lot of core to do this. If you want, you can let go of your legs and reach your arms forward. That's a little more advanced. There should be no back pain here. If you feel anything working hard, go for front belly. One more deep breath in. Exhale, come back up and just sit however is comfortable for you to rest. Okay, bring your legs out in front of you again. Start in that staff pose that we were just in with the ankles flexed, chest up, sits bones rooted down. And then we're going to take the legs wider apart. Some go wide, some don't. If your hips cramp, take your feet a little closer together. And wherever your feet ended up, put one hand in front of you, one hand behind you. Lean forward. See if you can lift your hips just enough to stick your butt out more and bring the hips back down. It's a quick movement. And that should create more inner thigh stretch. Toes face up. Press your heels away from you and bring your hands to your inner thighs. I just realized how strange it is that there's this many people here and on Zoom together that are, and it's all women. Usually there's at least like 2 guys or something. That's sad. Well, I can say weird stuff though, like now pull your thighs open a little bit more. Lift up your chest, but do that for real. And then pull your thighs away, your top of your thighs away from you or behind you as you fold forward. So the idea is to keep from rolling your knees in, and then it gives you more inner thigh stretch. And then eventually you can bring your hands down to hold yourself up. You can be here with the glutes relaxed, or you can really contract them by tilting pelvis forward more and pressing the outer thighs out more. And if you do that, then you can learn how to twerk. You all know what that is. What's the thing that brings all generations together? Twerking! I love it. Okay, come back up. Hands under the knees and bring the legs together. Yikes. Okay, we're gonna go to the hands and knees. You might want to put a blanket under your knees if the floor is pretty damn hard. You can mimic some stuff from Sylvan. Yeah, it's okay. So if you want to be on the palms, you can. If that's not good for your wrists right now, you can go to fists instead. Lift up out of the shoulders and then pull the shoulders back away from your ears a little bit more. And then contract your abdominal muscles. So pull your belly in a bit. Or take the right toes to the back of the mat with the knee lifted. Stay there or hover the toes. And or reach your left arm forward. So you can do that even with the toes down. Okay, go back to both hands and knees. Drop into child's pose. So that's with the tops of the feet on the floor, knees close or wide, it's up to you. And then just rest with your head on the floor. Okay, come back up to tabletop again. Left toes are at the back of the mat, knees lifted. Core is engaged. Lift out of the shoulders before you do anything else. And then maybe hover foot. Maybe reach right arm forward, whether foot's up or down. Maybe you're already in Shavasana. Come back to all fours again. And then rest back in child's pose. If your head doesn't quite touch the floor, you can cross your forearms and prop your head up on them. Slow down your breath here. And come up to tabletop again. We're going to transition into a forward fold. So from tabletop, it's a little easier to go to a lunge and then bring the other foot forward. Otherwise, you can just come up to standing and go into it. So you're feet are about hip width apart. You can grab opposite elbows. Maybe the knees are bent so much to support your back. Can you do that one? Huh? Okay. If you want to, you can gently rock side to side. Okay, release your arms. If you stepped with a lunge, go with the opposite foot back into a lunge. And then go back to all fours again. To hands and knees. So we're going down to the belly from there. Couple options are, one is to take the knees back further and do a reverse push-up. Another is to stay and go to forearms and then walk the knees back. That's a little easier. Not that easier makes you a wuss, because our egos tell us that sometimes. We have enough things in our lives that aren't easy. We can make it a little easy in here, right? Uh-huh. Put your arms by your sides. Tuck your right toes under. Lift the right knee. Turn the thigh in and bring the leg back down. And then take the top of the foot to the floor. I'm getting very specific with a really simple movement. Now tuck left toes under, lift that knee, turn the thigh inward and bring it back down. Top of the foot to the floor. That should have brought your legs closer together, so it's easier to squeeze them together and come into locust. So now your head, chest, shoulders will lift. Sounds like I was starting to sing a song. Head, chest, shoulders will lift. Come down and rest. If you want, you can cross hands or stack hands and put your forehead on them so you have room to breathe. Bring your arms back by your sides again. Squeeze your legs together. Come up again into locust. Your head and chest and shoulders lift. Those of you that have pretty open shoulders and no major issues, you're welcome to interlace your fingers behind your back. Whoa, was that a shoulder crack? Yeah, I get those too sometimes. Okay, come down and rest again. It can be a nice release on your lower back if you bend your knees and windshield wiper your feet side to side. Bring your legs to stillness, feet to the floor. And then bring your hands under your shoulders. We're going back up to hands and knees. Try to, if you can, lift your hips first. And don't drop them before you push down and lift your chest. Go back to the seated position. We're going to have the right knee bent and left leg straight out in front. That sounded more like a barf. I'm going to have us start a twist in a way that I don't teach as often, but you probably know it. Left hand's going to go to the right knee, in front of the knee, and then reach your right arm up. Do that pelvic tilt again, where you kind of slouch back, but then go out of that, opposite of it. Maintain that. Inhale. Exhale, turn to the right. Hug the knee towards you. Reach your right arm behind you, but pause with it about parallel to the floor and palm facing up, like you're holding a platter. Bend your elbow towards your waist. Feel how open your shoulder is. Maintain that as you just turn the palm down behind you and your fingertips touch the floor. So specific. Sometimes it helps. Sometimes it's just annoying. So some of you might be able to wrap your left elbow around the front of the knee if you feel a little more open in your twist. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, release your twist. Drop your right knee out to the side with the sole of the foot against your inner left leg. This is Sharon's pose. Reach your arms up. Like earlier, do that slouch. And then come up out of it. Do the opposite of it. One more time, slouch. Let that be an exhale. And then inhale, come up out of it. Lengthen the spine. Turn towards straight leg. Exhale, fold over the top of it. Before your back hunches over, hands come down. And then walk your hands like an inch closer toward you. Lift your chest and puff it out. Breathe in. Exhale. Maybe you go further down with your chest staying open. Maybe your hands then walk further forward. Johnsonville sausage. Can you believe they named a pose 5,000 years ago after Johnsonville sausage? The real name is Janu Shirsasana. Sit back up straight. Take right knee up and then cross your foot outside the left side. This is just a gentle counter pose for the position the hip was just in. I should do a yoga for twerking class. Never know, it might be really popular. All right, so straighten your right leg out in front of you and bend the left knee. With this twist that we're doing, if you have your foot right against thigh, what tends to happen is the knee drops out, so the hips get involved and you kind of lose the benefit of keeping your spine up. So take your foot out far enough. Right hand to the knee, left arm up. Untuck the tail, so that pelvic tilt. Inhale. Exhale, pull against your shin to twist to the left. Do just like Sharon did. Bend your elbow, palm facing up, elbow way in toward the waist. And then palm facing down to bring fingertips behind you. If you don't know already, twists are good for detoxification and they can increase the metabolism, which is sometimes a good thing, sometimes not. One more deep breath in. Maybe get a little taller. Long pipe. Exhale, release your twist. Johnsonville sausage, left knee out to the side, right leg straight. Reach your arms up. And just do it one time. Slouch back enough to feel the opposite of what we want to do. Deep breath in as you lengthen the spine, turn towards straight leg. Exhale, fold over the top of it. Hands down wherever. Walk the hands in about an inch or so closer. Puff out your chest, inhale. Exhale, belly towards thigh, chest toward toes. And then maybe hands walk forward again. Maybe they go further than where they started. One more full breath cycle. Inhaling, walk your hands back in, sit up. Take your knee up and cross the foot outside thigh. Hang out here, let the hip close up. Okay, uncross your legs. And then we're gonna lean back onto the hands just like a little earlier. If you're sitting on a bolster, you're probably okay to just put your hands on the floor, but it's up to you. I've been rocking on my tailbone so much, it's like raw. Ew. Lift up out of your shoulders. Maybe look up if that's okay with your neck. Maybe drop the head back. Make sure you're not sinking into the shoulders, that you're lifting up out of them. Good. Okay, sit back up, float off the hands, shake them out. And then we're going to go back to the hands and knees again. Going into a lunge. So I don't know, I think most of you have blocks, if not all of you. You might find them helpful. Right foot forward. And blocks will make your arms longer, or you can just take your hands to your thigh. Just a little harder to balance. So we're allowing the left hip to open up, the hip flexors to lengthen. Take your foot further, actually your back knee further back. There you go, yeah. And you're using your core, right? Right? Yep. Okay, bring your hands to the floor or blocks and go into a half split, where your right toes will lift. Good, nice alignment. Breath control, life force control. Pranayama, which happens to be the fourth limb of the 8 limbs of yoga. Come back and do your lunge. Bring your hands inside of your right foot and walk the foot over to the right a little bit. So some of you might want to put blocks under your hands. If this is a really intense stretch for your left hip, then intense isn't always great when it comes to yoga or asana. Asana is the poses, and they're a tiny little blip of what yoga is. Turn your right toes out and let the knee follow the direction of them, and then roll to the outer edge of your foot. If that hurts the ankle, then go back flat to your foot and don't let the knee drop out quite so far. If you want, you can bring your right hand to your thigh. The more the knee is bent, the better for your knee joint. So if you're like really far back, let the knee bend a little more. Good. Okay, go back flat to the foot. Swing your leg around, come back to tabletop, and rest in child's pose. Maybe you feel like one side of your body feels a little different than the other here. Since we did a few things, one-sided. The next time you inhale, come back up to tabletop. And then step your left foot forward for lunge. We want to try to keep the knee more or less above the ankle. Like it can go a little bit forward of it, but we don't want it so much that like the pressure is starting to go to the front of the foot. That's when the knee starts to take some strain. So again, your hands can be on blocks or maybe the thigh. And don't push anything. If your breath keeps catching, that's often a sign too that your nervous system is saying, knock it off, dummy. No, our nervous system isn't that mean. It wants us to succeed. All right, bring your hips back and straighten the front leg with your toes lifted for half split. If you feel a stretch in your back, that's sometimes a sign that you're hunching over. So blocks under the hands can help, or maybe your hands are way up at the top of your thigh. If we push further down toward the knee, we tend to push too much on the joint itself. Okay, back into your lunge. And bring both hands inside your left foot and move the foot over a bit further to the side. Turn the left toes out, letting the knee turn in the same direction. And if you're not quite real bent in the knee, get a narrower stance. And then roll to the pinky toe side of your foot. Maybe left hand goes to thigh. It doesn't have to though. It's a good idea to have blocks if that's helpful. Okay, come back. Both hands down, left foot flat. And swing your leg around and rest again in child's pose. Come back up to tabletop. Whatever foot you want to step forward with, go for it to get transitioned into a forward fold. Or actually, no, sorry, not a forward fold, but to standing. So what we do is bring the hands to whatever thigh is forward. Spine goes upright. Lift the back knee. And then you start hopping that foot forward until you're kind of sitting back in a chair-like position, but not real low. And then walk your hands slowly up your legs. Breathe in as you stand up. And if you get a head rush, just move back and lean against the wall. Hopefully you don't. We're going to balance, which is Suzanne's favorite thing. It's so hard to decide where to go in the room when I have the camera and then like so many people. Tree is what we're going to do. A lot of you already know it. We're going to do with the left hand against the wall, or if you don't even need a wall and you don't need to go to it, but the right leg is going to come up and out. Yeah, you can go to that side if you want. So start with your feet together and find a focal point, whatever it is that doesn't move, so not somebody else's head. Arms can be at your sides, or I like hands at hips for myself. And what I need is not often what others need. Lift your right heel. Externally rotate the hip. Toes can stay on the floor, or you can put a block under the toes, or you can go sole to inner calf and fall over. Those of you that are more open than this probably know where you can go. Your arms can hands to heart first if you want, or reach up overhead. If your arms are up, bring your hands back to heart, and then release. Shake out your standing leg. Oh, I'm done. Bring your feet together. My social life is more exhausting than my work life now. Yeah, it is kind of nice. Hasn't been that way in a long time. Thank you, coronavirus. Left heel is going to lift. Find your focal point. Externally rotate left hip. Really fire up your right leg. That'll help keep you balanced. And you can take your foot wherever you want. You can have hands at heart or reach up overhead. Okay, hands back to heart if they're up. And then release, shake it up. Nobody's so focused. One of these days I'll find a way to use music again. Come back to the front of your mat. Strange to have that kind of power to just go. Come forward. It's really weird. It's going to be a little more challenging to have hands at heart, a little easier for balance to have hands at hips. If you can remember which foot stepped forward to come up, that one is going to step back. If you can't remember, it doesn't matter. Step it back far enough to then bring your hands to the front thigh. Maybe one hand stays on the thigh and the other goes to the floor, and then the knee comes down. All fours. And then back down to the belly again. Is everybody ecstatic that it's not 90 plus? Oh my God. Is that why you've been gone for so long? Really? Come up to the forearms. So we're going to try to get forearms parallel to each other. As close as you can. As close as you can to parallel. The legs are going to go a little bit wider than hips. Tops of the feet on the floor. And then we're going to do one slow twerk to contract your glutes. Pull the shoulders back and pull your chest forward through the shoulders. So probably got nips hanging out now. Push the top of your feet down if that's comfortable, so much that your knees lift, if possible. This is Sphinx. Okay, walk the arms forward, take a rest, maybe crossing arms and resting head on them. Relax your whole body here. Come back up to the forearms again. And then bring the legs closer together. This is a pose that I just never know what to expect, because some do it with ease and others really struggle with it. So keep that in mind. If you're the one that struggles, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. The left forearm will go parallel to the front of the mat. Right knee will bend, and try to grab the foot if you can. If you can't quite grab the foot, you can stick your hand into the bottom of your pants. That's what got me thinking about the temperature, because I was thinking, how many in here will have pants and how many will have shorts? Why would you? I mean, if you don't want to, why? Why? You're the only one that matters. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm going to keep shaving my legs no matter who's touching them. Right? Whatever. Who cares? I don't know why I just went off on that tangent. Go ahead, release. In case you all wanted to know my opinion. Other side now, come up to forearms, right forearm parallel to the front of the mat. Left hand reaches back. You might hold the outside of the foot. If you go above or over the toes to the inside, it's tempting to lock the elbow, so try to keep a bend in it if you can. That's fairly advanced, so if you go to the inside of the foot. This pose itself, honestly, is somewhat sometimes advanced. Okay, release the leg and take a rest. Flip over onto your back. And just rest there. If there's pain or discomfort in the lower back, have your knees bent. Hug your knees to your chest. And if it feels good, you can rock side to side. Come back to stillness. Bring your feet to the floor, keeping the knees bent. Have your arms by your waist on the floor. Press your feet evenly into the mat and lift your hips up into bridge. If you feel like the back of your upper arms want to pop off the floor, it can be helpful to bend the elbows and have the fingertips facing the ceiling. One more inhale. And exhaling, come down slowly. And rest. Take your right leg and cross the ankle on top of left thigh. Reclined pigeon. If you keep the ankle flexed, the knee is less likely to twist. I read an article once that disputed that, but I don't believe them. If you're not getting enough stretch in the right hip, you can hug your left thigh toward your chest with the right arm going between the legs. One more deep breath. And then exhaling, release both feet to the floor. Left ankle on top of right thigh for the other side. Hips are usually uneven, so if this side needs something different, honor that. Release, uncross your legs and bring both feet to the floor. The left knee is going to stay bent as you bring right leg down straight to the floor. And you can make this a passive, relaxing pose by just letting the leg rest there, or make it a little more active by pressing the heel away from you and the back of the knee toward the floor. Try to do that without tensing any other parts of your body. Okay, relax the leg if it's tense. Switch legs. So right knee is bent, left leg straight down. And you keep it passive or more active by pressing the heel away from you and back of the knee toward the floor. Core engaged will also make it more work. Deep breath in. Exhale, relax the left leg if it's tense. Bend both knees. And take soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. If this is too intense on your hips, you can stick blocks under your outer thighs. And this is another one where the more bent your knees are, the safer they are. So if there's knee pain, maybe bring your heels closer to your butt. Notice where your breath goes in this pose. What do you feel expanding as you breathe in? And where can you find some more softness as you breathe out? Where do you feel expansion as you breathe in? And where can you find more softness as you breathe out? One more slow, deep inhale. And then as you exhale, bring the knees back together. Take the feet to the floor, but take the feet wide enough apart so that your knees can rest against each other without effort. Just allow your hips to close back up. Walk your feet back together. And then lift your hips just enough to move them over to the right and bring them back down. Take your knees up towards your chest and let them drop over to your left. So we're in a spinal twist. If you feel any kind of pinch in the lower back, take your knees closer towards your chest. Sometimes that'll help. Sometimes it won't. Notice here now where you feel expansion as you breathe in. And where can you find softness as you breathe out? Where do you feel expansion as you breathe in? Where can you find softness as you breathe out? And the next breath in, bring the knees back up to center. Straighten your spine. Then move the hips over to the left. Take knees up towards your chest and then over to your right. If it's a little too intense, you can prop a block or blanket or something under the outer right thigh. The word for the poses or pose in Sanskrit is asana. But what asana really means, even more than just pose, is a steady, comfortable posture. So one thing that means to a lot of people that I've talked to and myself is that if you're in a pose, even if it's a challenging one, there shouldn't be any pain. There should still be some comfort. So I always suggest to honor that. If there's pain, back off. Modify, use props. Don't do it. Where do you feel expansion as you breathe in? Where can you find softness as you breathe out? And next inhale, bring your knees back up to center. Straighten your spine. Just rest there for a moment with your back or your spine neutral and your back heavy. Heel toe your feet wider apart. For some of you, they might go outside the mat. And slowly windshield wiper your knees side to side. You can go with the breath if you want to, or just keep breathing as you move the legs. Feet are wide apart. And the next time that your knees are to the right, pause there. And see how this feels. If it's comfortable, you can stay. If it's uncomfortable, find little micro movements to get comfortable. Sometimes it doesn't take much. It just takes a little adjustment. And there's often so many options of micro adjustments that can't list them all off in even 10 hours. Bring your focus back to the breath. Now bring the knees back up to center. Start doing the windshield wipering again. Next time the knees are to the left, hold there. And see how that feels. Do you need to find some micro adjustments to get more comfortable? Keep the breath in the forefront of your mind. Breath control, life force control. Next inhale, bring the knees back up again. And exhaling, heel toe the feet together. Hug your knees to your chest one more time. If it feels good, you can rock side to side or circle the knees around to give your sacrum a massage. If you're circling, reverse direction. Come back to stillness. Bring your feet down to the mat. Extend your legs down and get ready for Shavasana. I had a teacher recently say something I thought was kind of cool because I was always taught, you know, you got arms a foot or two or so out from the hips and feet apart. I believe it was an Ayurveda course even. She said, if you feel like you need more space for whatever reason, then sprawl out. But if you feel like you need to close in and protect yourself for whatever reason, then arms closer and legs closer. I thought that was kind of cool. Close your eyes if you haven't already. Allow the muscles of your face to soften, your forehead, your temples, your jaw, tongue. Let the shoulders be heavy. Let the hips be heavy. Relax your whole body. Start to deepen your breath. Bring some organic movements into your body, subtle movements. Give yourself one last stretch that sounds good, feels good. Roll gently to one side and press yourselves up into a seated position. When you're ready, bring your hands to your heart and close your eyes. I'll close with the mantra that the gist of means, may we all seek the truth together and may there be no quarrels among us. Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, Sahat Viryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadi Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste.